everything. That and guilt are the two emotions that keep a society humming.
What are you saying? You and Rachel stay together because you're afraid?
In a word, yes.
And you're okay with that?
In 3 words, yes and no. See, it's not that simple. You're looking for clear-cut answers. In reality, there is nothing clear-cut. Life is not clear-cut. Life is gray. For instance, what do you see right here?
What are you asking me, Stan?
I'm asking you, what do you see?
I see your ass.
That's what you think you see. But in reality, there is no ass.
What the... What are you telling me?
There is no ass. Just the fatty part at the top of each leg that just so happens to be butted up against each other. Hence the word butt. See, essentially, what we're dealing with here is just a continuation of the leg.
Okay, all right, now you lost me.
Ben, it's all illusions. There is no such thing as an ass. Just like there's no such thing as the perfect marriage, the perfect job, the perfect child, the whole notion of staying together and living happily ever after. All illusions.
So you're saying you don't believe in everlasting love?
You're seeing the ass again, and not the tops of the legs. Love is just lust in disguise, and lust fades. So you damn well better be with someone who can stand you.
Well, Katie and I have moved way past being able to stand each other. We've moved right into the hatred part.
Al, I wouldn't worry about it. Hate fades.
Hate fades? That's what you're telling me? That's your message? That's what you're gonna send me out into the world with? Hate fades, love is lust, there is no ass? What a disappointment you've turned out to be. Just promise me one thing. Just, please, just promise me that you will not say any of this to Rachel.
What, are you crazy? This conversation ends here.
When Stan called me from the car, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew you guys were going through some rough times, but...
We didn't want to say anything until we knew we weren't going to get back together.
Oh, my God. Wow. Well, how are you doing?
I don't know. I thought I'd be devastated. Maybe it just hasn't hit me.
You're having an affair.
What are you talking about?
The only reason not to be devastated is if you're seeing someone else.
I am not seeing someone else.
Are you serious about this guy you're not seeing?
I don't know what it is. All I know is he's nothing like Ben. He's responsible, he plans ahead, he has a Swiss Army knife. He even wants to cook dinner for me.
Oh, he's a sandbag.
He's a what?
He's just a sandbag against the storm, holding off the inevitable devastation.
Rachel, you okay? Honey?
I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to be the one holding your hand, but I just feel terrible. I mean, the thought of you guys not being together. You're our best friends. 4th of Julys and Thanksgivings and Christmases. You guys were our Fred and Ethel Mertz.
That's weird. We thought you guys were our Fred and Ethel Mertz.
Oh, really?
I never thought this was going to happen to me and Ben. I thought we were going to be the ones to go the distance. But I just couldn't seem to get him to put down that purple crayon.
But that's Ben. That's who you fell in love with. Katie, you are at 80 who you are at 8. People don't change. People change over time. You've got to expect that. Ben, the only way a relationship works is if people grow and change together.
Mr. and Mrs. Kogan, Mr. Jordan. Nice to have you tonight. Is Mrs. Jordan not joining us this evening?
No, she's not. Stan, I told you to make the reservation for 3.
God.
How could you forget something like that?
Why don't you say it a little louder? The guy in the parking lot didn't hear you.
It wasn't that loud.
Right this way.
You see Sunday 7 down?
No, I missed that one.
5-letter word. Wants. Requirements. Rhymes with weeds.
Needs?
Exactly. It's a direct attack on me.
Oh, come on. You're being silly. It's just a clue in a crossword puzzle.
I know my wife. She was specifically attacking me. And for what? having needs. Like having needs is some terrible thing. Show me one person on this planet who doesn't have needs.
Ben, you should try this bread dipped in the olive oil. It's delicious. Stan, give Ben the bread.
Why must you always yell?
Who was yelling?
You are.
That was not a yell.
That was a yell.
You just heard it as a yell. He hears everything as a yell.
Trust me, on anyone's yellometer, that was a yell.
Ben, was that a yell? See? He didn't hear it as a yell. His mother was a yeller. He's still hearing her.
How could I hear her? You drown her out.
That's true. For the last few years, every time Katie opened her mouth, all I could hear was her mother. Dot.
Now listen, it couldn't have been easy for Katie to be raised by a woman as complicated as Dot.
Please, she wasn't complicated. She was an idiot who made everyone else's life complicated. I couldn't believe all the beautiful psychological heirlooms this snapping turtle handed down. Everything's got to be in a neat little box with a little blue bow on it. Punctual. Ordered. God forbid anything unexpected should happen. Any perchances, happenstances, left turns, serendipities. Nope, no way, not allowed, out of mouth, foul ball. 15-yard penalty, too much time being spontaneous. Everything's got to be connected. Got to connect the dots. Maybe that's why they call her Dot. You notice that her name wasn't gay or joy or fun.
Ben, maybe you should try a little of the bread. What do
You can't even fuck unless everything's just right. Like a plane waiting for takeoff. Window shut, check. Doors locked, check. Heat on, check. And we covered every possible single reason why everything is my fault. Houston, we got a problem and her name is Dot.
Ben, bread.
There are people like Katie and Dot, honey, who like to color inside the lines, and then there are people like you who wander outside the lines. That can be a very endearing quality. That's why Katie fell in love with you. It's just that once you have children...
I am not a third child.
No one's saying...
Excuse me if my watch occasionally has no hands on it.
Ben, that's fine. It's just that somebody has to establish the routine, set the limit.
What are you saying?
Are you saying it's all my fault?
No. It's nobody's fault.
No. When people say it's nobody's fault, they don't mean it's nobody's fault. They mean it's your fault. The nobody's fault things are hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, acts of God. But when a marriage fails, it's gotta be somebody's fault. And it's not mine.
Ben?
And you take that fucking bread and shove it up the